Well, folks, we have a bunch of really big stories for you today regarding the Nintendo Switch 2. We have some great news about Opening Night Live next week, which is the opening event for Gamescom. We have some major game announcements that we're going to be expecting there. We have a list now coming from the host of the show, Jeff Keighley. Beyond all that, we have an update on Call of Duty Black Ops, which normally we wouldn't be talking about, except this update does have to do with the Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe, kind of, sort of. I'm going to explain why it's a little bit of a confusing situation. We also have an update on, yes, Kirby Air Riders. Oh, man, pretty excited about that one. Some new rumors about Rayman. And we have an unfortunate update about Borderlands 4 for Nintendo Switch 2. No, it's not delayed, but it is going to be missing a key feature. And, how about we talk about some Pokemon Legends EA? That's right, brand new information on Legends EA is out right now as Pokemon Worlds is happening right behind me. That means people are getting to play Pokemon Legends EA. We have some new footage to show you. Oh, I'm so excited. What a beautiful Friday. And you know what? If you're enjoying the news and you enjoy the videos, I'd appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel. We're on our road to 160,000 subscribers, but then 70, 80, and really the big goal of 200,000. So thank you so much. If you enjoy the video, drop a like and let me know your favorite piece of news from today down in the comments below. Let's go ahead and get into the news, starting with Gamescom. So Jeff Keighley out here says, games confirmed for Gamescom Opening Night Live on Tuesday. We have Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Resident Evil Requiem, Ghost of Yotoi, Ninja Gaiden 4, The Outer Worlds 2, Silent Hill F. Ooh, that one excites me a bit. And World of Warcraft Midnight. And there'll be more. There's a plus more there. I'm excited for the World of Warcraft one personally. But then Fallout Season 2, which I really enjoyed Season 1, plus Claire Obscure Expedition 33 musical performances. You can see what time it's at there. We will be live streaming this event right here at Nintendo Prime, joined by Thunderstash Gaming as well, who's really into a lot of this stuff. I'm really excited about this. Obviously, no specific Nintendo games. Will any of those games be coming to Nintendo Switch 2? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And we already have an update on one of those games coming from Bill Kun. Consider this a rumor or a leak, however you want to call it. He really knows mostly about retail. And so this is the title. No Call of Duty Black Ops 7 will not be available on the Switch 2 at launch. Now, it's interesting he says this because we have to talk about it just a smidge. Let's just get to the actual news. So we are now a few days away from Gamescom 2025, which will take place in Cologne from August 20th to the 24th. This will be an opportunity for the big names in the video game industry, as well as independent studios, to stand out and unveil new products. Xbox will be part of it and has already revealed its program for the event with plenty of expected announcements. Among them, the launch of pre-orders for its new portable consoles, the ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X, for which we have previously revealed the release date. The other anticipated announcement is the reveal of Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which was teased during the Xbox Game Showcase 2025 last June. The publisher confirmed that the game will be released on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, as well as the previous generation consoles of PS4 and Xbox One. However, there was no mention of the Switch 2. So, since Microsoft's acquisition of Activision in 2023, a 10-year agreement has been followed, ensuring the availability of Call of Duty on Nintendo consoles. The community is wondering whether Activision is preparing a last-minute surprise or will simply skip out once again. So the Switch 2 is missing, at least at launch of the game. Following our recent investigations, we were able to gather several key elements surrounding the release of Call of Duty Black Ops 7. These include the platforms concerned, the game's release date, and the physical editions that will be available. So platform and release date. According to our information, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 will be released on November 14th, 2025, which does fall in line with most Call of Duties. This date had already been mentioned in a rumor from the leaker, The Ghost of Hope, on X last July. No changes have therefore been made by Activision. We can also confirm that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 will not be available on Nintendo Switch 2 when it launches this year. However, it remains unclear whether Activision plans a future port to the new console. So, if you guys didn't know how Bill Kun and the people over here at Deal Labs Magazine get their information, is they get it from retail, right? So the big thing about getting information from retail is they haven't had a lot of information on games for Switch 2 in terms of their launching, the third-party stuff they're launching on Switch 2. I've been following the reporting this year when games are game key cards. I don't know why that seems to be the case with them, but for some reason they don't seem to get information on games that would be game key cards. And Call of Duty Black Ops would be game key cards. Now, maybe they have some developer sources as well, and that's why they can say, we can confirm it's not going to be on Switch 2 at launch. And I'm not here to tell you that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 will be there at launch. What I will say is if it's not there at launch, it's probably not coming later either. And that is because that 10-year deal, as we understand it, includes time and date availability, feature parity. Pretty much the game has to be the same version as everyone else and arrive at the same time. So if Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is coming later, that would actually be against the 10-year contract statements as far as we're aware. So if I had to guess, if Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is not on Switch 2 at launch, then that probably means next year's version will be the one that actually is on Switch 2. And you might go, well, why the hell wouldn't it be this year's version? It's on PS4. Well, because this year's version was probably in development for the last 3 or 4 years, and they probably didn't have dev kits for Switch 2 at the beginning of development of this game. They do probably have it on Switch 2 for, like, they probably had dev kits at the beginning of development of the one for next year, so that one's probably more likely to be there. That would be just my guess. Of course, maybe it's still there. Maybe they made some separate deal with Nintendo to bring this one a little bit later to the platform. Maybe there's other things going on and it actually is going to be there at launch. I don't know. But that's the update we have, and I just wanted to be forthright with the current information that states it's not going to be there at launch. And that's, again, based on Bill Khan. Now, we got to get into some more exciting stuff because Legend ZA, we have some new information, and all of this is coming from the public demos. I want to note this is information that Nintendo is willing to have out there. So it's not really a leak, it's just new info. So let's go ahead and go over to Central Leaks that does leak stuff, but they're just gathering all the information that's being shared across the internet on Legend ZA from Pokemon Worlds. So as we get in here, we're going to scroll down, and the first thing we're going to see here is some brand new footage from Nintendo Life. So this is just some gameplay. We're going to watch the whole segment here. This is pretty cool. It's Lucario there going up against the Rogue Mega Absol, level 25. Weedle there running around. Look, this is pretty cool. This is showing the live action combat. This is probably one of the coolest things in Legends EA that I think everyone universally is pretty excited to see how this works. I believe we're going to learn, I don't know if we learn in this footage, but we will learn in a moment that even the player can be attacked and die. I think that's an interesting mechanic. So we're going to get to that here in a bit, but this is really cool. You can see how it was kind of targeting the player for a second, then it went for the Pokemon. You see the live switching of Pokemon there. The Mareep out there doing his thing in the live combat scenario. I like this. What's interesting is the NPC guy isn't moving around quite as much as the player, but, you know, however the AI was designed is how the AI was designed. I like the little snap that character just did for that attack. Hey, attack him now. Get that little snap in. Kind of a little quirk of that character, obviously. I'm liking what's going on here. This looks really cool. We're seeing Thunderwave, Thundershock, Tackle, Growl at work here. Yeah, honestly, this looks like probably the most exciting Pokemon combat I have seen in quite some time. As you can see here, they got 3 wins. You can see a point system. So yeah, this is all cool. We're getting towards the end of the footage here. You're in the Wand district here. Look, I really like what I'm seeing from Pokemon Legends EA. Just pausing here and looking at the world. Yeah, it does still look a little flat and not quite as alive as I would like, but it looks clean. Probably the Switch 2 version, if I had to guess how clean this looks here. Still some pop in there, but you know, whatever. We're kind of used to that with Pokemon, so there's no point in nitpicking about it. But as we go down here, we can see some other stuff. So crazy how Pokemon manages to improve its menu UI even more with each game. This new UI feels very refined. And it does. This UI looks clean. It looks crisp. It looks like there was a lot of thought put into it. There seems to be a new menu item potentially up here as well. So that's pretty cool. Mega Dragonite will debut in the Pokemon anime next week. This is them going on stage. But let's get to the ZA stuff because this is what we're excited about. So Rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon will focus on attacking you, not your Pokemon. So you need to be careful to evade the opponent's moves. So just like in Legends Arceus, you can still die. The game has been said to be considerably more difficult than previous entries. Obviously, this is based on people going hands-on with it. Down here, we get into how Mega Evolutions will work. So it says when your Pokemon deals damage, the opposing Pokemon will drop Mega Energy. The trainer has to pick up the orbs of Mega Energy to fill the Mega Gauge. Once the Mega Gauge is full, you can Mega Evolve your Pokemon. The Mega Gauge will decrease slowly. However, you can keep dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon and picking up the energy orbs to refill your gauge. So just another really cool mechanic being added in. This is obviously another look at the menu, and again, how clean and crisp that looks. Up here is, you know, some item, potentially some fragrances. We were pointing that out earlier. Here also, contrary to Legends, Arceus Legends EA will have held items. Each item you use will have cooldowns, so you can't just spam potions, for example. And here's a brief look at the map. First time we've really seen a good look at the map. Obviously, not the entire map, but, you know, by the end of today, we'll probably have the entire map just from people playing the demo. And then you see the Wand District, which is something we saw at the end of that footage. And then this is obviously a new Legends EA commercial. We'll leave this kind of small because they tend to get mad when we show the official commercials and stuff like that. They do copyright claims and stuff. It gets a little weird. That being said, obviously, you know, this looks pretty cool. You're seeing the Dragonite Mega or whatever. That looks absolutely stupid with the wings on the head, but whatever. That's just my thoughts, guys. Look, in general, it's just really cool. We have some exciting stuff. That's why we're wearing the Pikachu shirt today. That's why we have Pokemon Worlds behind us. That's where all this news is coming from. That's all really, really exciting. And now let's get to a funny story. And I'm calling this a funny story because this keeps happening with this particular group, and it just gets more and more ridiculous the more they talk up when it comes to video games. We're talking about PETA. PETA wants Nintendo to change the Mario Kart World cow. I'm not showing their official website because they try to liken the video game to like real world torture of cows, and I don't get it. This is an anamorphic cow, so it is a human-like cow that can walk on its hind legs and drive cars. So what accessories a cow chooses to wear should probably be up to that anamorphic cow in a fake universe. But, you know, PETA is asking Nintendo to remove the nose ring from the cow character in Mario Kart World. The organization argues that the current design promotes animal cruelty and clearly clashes with Mario Kart World's character's otherwise whimsical charm. I mean, Majora's Mask 3D also had a cow with a nose in the ring. I don't remember them throwing a fit about that. Anyways, a U.S. animal rights nonprofit PETA has targeted Nintendo over half a dozen times since the late aughts. It did so on several occasions during the Switch generation, most recently by protesting against Blather's Museum in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Mario Kart World's cow design promotes animal cruelty, they say. Continuing the trend, the organization has now taken at the critically acclaimed Mario Kart World, Nintendo's flagship Switch 2 exclusive. In an open letter addressed to Nintendo, President Shintaro Furukawa, PETA urged the Japanese gaming giant to change the design of the game's cow character by removing its nose ring, calling it a symbol of animal suffering. This marvelous Moo Moo's goofy grin has charmed gamers around the world, but her real-life counterparts who are tormented and violently yanked around by their noses have nothing to smile about, PETA SVP Joel Bartlett said in a prepared statement. The group contends that including such a detail in a family-friendly game undermines empathy for bovines and glamorizes animal cruelty, especially since cow immediately established itself as a fan favorite. Apart from penning an open letter to Furukawa, PETA also started rallying supporters via PETA 2, a branch of its youth division, asking them to help call on Nintendo to redesign the cow character. So they're literally telling children to boycott Mario Kart, basically, over this ring in the nose of a fake character in a video game. I can't take them serious. This open letter itself includes graphic descriptions of how nose rings are used in industrial farming. Yes, it does do that, including practices of dragging animals to their death and severing maternal bonds between cows and calves by intentionally making nursing painful. Usually made of brass, these rings are stabbed through a cow or bull's septum and can cause chronic pain and discomfort. As per the same source, PETA thus argues that it proposed minor redesigns of Mario Kart World's cow would allow Nintendo to make a positive impact with minimal effort, adding that removing the nose ring would also align with the character's otherwise family-friendly design. Look, guys, obviously, nobody likes hearing about the torture of animals. Of course, some of you guys obviously don't care. We all know how a lot of farms get their stuff done. Not all farms use nose rings in cows. I could say this as somebody who lives in Wisconsin, and there's tons of cow farms around here, both for beef purposes and for milk, and not all of them are using nose rings, but there are definitely some that do, and maybe not to the severity that some of their images show. They showed some spiked nose rings, like that are intentionally meant to damage. That sucks that stuff like that's used, but what that has to do with a round brass ring in a fake character that doesn't exist, that's just pixels on a screen, that can also drive cars, and cows can't drive cars. Look, PETA's always just trying to get attention for literally anything they can. Uh, Look, they could be dealing with actual animal cruelty instead of worrying about this, but it's PETA. And they just want attention. So congrats on your 5 minutes of fame in my video. Moving on, bad news. Bad news from a weird, wacky story to Borderlands 4, which is being demoed soon, is not going to have all of the features. As crossplay, though. So it says, will Switch 2 have the same game features? It's from the official Borderlands Q&A. And it says, Switch 2 players will have the same exciting Borderlands 4 experience as other platforms, minus the split screen option. And yes, it will have full crossplay with Epic, Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox X and S. Which is interesting because it also only runs at 30 FPS. This is interesting. I think for a lot of people, they don't play split screen with Borderlands 4. For a lot of people, this might not even matter. This update could just be like, whatever, I never play Borderlands that way. But I know there are some people out there, including myself, and I've done this with my best friend Eric Moore on the podcast. We used to play Borderlands in split screen all the time, and probably will continue to do so on respective platforms, but we just can't do it on Switch 2 with Borderlands 4, which is just unfortunate. I don't know if this just means the game isn't optimized as well as it could be, or maybe the game is just punching above what the Switch 2 is capable of. Maybe the 60 FPS option on something like an Xbox Series X is when they split screen it, maybe it's 30 FPS per person. And so if it halves the frame rate to do that, then having a 30 FPS on Switch 2 would basically be unplayable at 15 frames. So I guess I can maybe understand if that's what's going on. Ultimately, this is either going to affect you or it's not. It's not something that's like a definitive, everyone's going to react negatively to this, because only people that play split screen are going to react negatively. Anyone who plays this just not that way probably isn't going to care. So we have yet to see how well this game runs on Switch 2. We don't know if there's any other issues. We'll find out pretty soon, because there's a demo of it next week at Gamescom on Switch 2 in Nintendo's booth. Now from that story, we move on to something that's a lot more exciting, and this deals with a game that many of us are just at least curious about, if not excited for, and that is Kirby Air Riders, baby! Masahiro Sakurai himself. This is not coming from some random. This is coming from the guy who's heading up development of the game, has basically teased that we're going to see something from it soon. Here we go. It doesn't matter to most people, but today, Sora Company Ltd. Is celebrating its 20th anniversary. That's a long time. Thank you for your continued support. The new game, Kirby Air Rider, hasn't even shown gameplay footage yet, but I think we'll be able to share some information soon. Please wait. And then you talk about the Sora Company, link to the YouTube video he did on this a while ago. So 20 years for starters. Congratulations to Masahiro Sakurai and his team over there. I am very happy for Sora Company Ltd. to make it 20 years in this industry, is saying something in today's world when so many studio closures are happening. That being said, yeah, the Kirby Air Rider stuff's what we're really excited about. And obviously he's not saying that, he even knows, hey, I know we haven't shown gameplay footage yet, but we're going to have some information soon, which I assume includes gameplay footage. Some people think that this is probably going to be a Masahiro Sakurai's Presents sort of situation like he's done with Smash in the past. And I do think we're going to get something like that, but I don't think right now. I think when he's saying, because he thinks they'll be able to share some, thinking means it's happening in an event that he doesn't directly control. That's the way I take it. That event is likely a Nintendo Direct. He can't say it out loud, of course, because he would probably get in trouble, but he's probably hinting towards a Nintendo Direct that's likely happening in September. So that's probably when the game will get shown to get the gameplay, and there could be a Masahiro Sakurai Presents sort of thing happening down the line for when that game comes out. When is it going to come out? We don't really know, because we haven't even seen gameplay yet, but it's really exciting that we're probably seeing gameplay soon. I say probably because he said he thinks, which again, to me suggests it's an event he doesn't have direct control over, that we're going to see it very soon. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait. Kirby Air Riders, I already kind of expected it, but now just having the guy who's making the game come out and basically say, we're going to be seeing the game soon, good stuff. All right. Our last thing is a rumor here coming from Nash Weedle. Now, Nash Weedle, as we've talked in the past, he's got a track record of sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. He's been more right this year than wrong, which is pretty interesting to note. But we'll have to wait and see if he's right on stuff such as what he said was going to happen with Directs in the 40th anniversary next month. But he also threw another one out here about Rayman. So, Leak Express, Rayman. 2 Rayman games are in development. A compilation release has been considered, just considered. He's not saying in development. Tests have been conducted to merge 3D gameplay with artistic style of Origins and Legends, which is quite interesting. It's very likely that something can be tried behind the scenes at Gamescom. So not a public demo, but maybe a private demo of a concept that they might just want to see feedback from certain media outlets to see, hey, is this working? Is this something we should continue to pursue? It wouldn't be a full game. Kind of sounds like, again, just trying out that 3D gameplay. Like they created a level, right, to like merge that stuff and just see what people think, if it's worth pursuing. And I can understand Ubisoft wanting to test the grounds if this rumor is true, because Ubisoft is not in a good position to just start greenlighting all these projects if they don't think the audience is going to be there for it. So if they're experimenting with this at a small team, make something that they want people to try out, I think that that's actually probably a smart move for the position Ubisoft is in. Obviously, I love Rayman, so I would hope that it gets greenlit, but only if it's good. If not good, then maybe not. So I miss you. It's been a long time since we played an amazing Rayman game. Wii U for me. So yeah, hopefully something happens, because you never really know with Ubisoft. They haven't exactly been the healthiest AAA company in the world over the last handful of years. That being said, folks, I am Nathaniel Rumpelgents from Nintendo Prime. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this video. A lot of interesting stories that were twisting and turning and taking me on an emotional roller coaster all over the place. But in general, I'm ending pretty excited. We got to talk about and look at new Legends EA footage today. That's always exciting. We got to talk about and even like not even dream, basically just be told we're going to see Kirby Air Rider soon. Oh man, that gets me excited for a potential direct in September. So guys, buckle up. We're about to begin a massive journey for the next 2 months as Nintendo is about to blow our freaking minds. Catch you guys in the next video.